Good evening. You're watching To the Chaudhary. Now, since yesterday, there has been rather keen interest in what's going on in the Supreme Court. An 18-year-old battle seems to be coming full circle. We don't quite know it yet. Seems so. Where the Supreme Court began hearing a number of petitions challenging the constitutional validity of the archaic Section 377, challenging the 150-year-old ban on consensual gay sex in India. Today, all eyes were also on the Indian government, which was to make its stand clear on which side of the divide did it stand when it came down to Section 377. Where exactly did the government of the day stand on gay rights? Let's tell you more. The government today played it safe. Some might say a little too safe, while others might say it was extremely brave of the government, keeping in mind from where it comes from. So the government today left it to the wisdom of the Supreme Court to take a call on consensual gay sex, or Section 377. The court, it said, is free to decide whether Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code is constitutionally valid. The change in the stand of the government, which earlier upheld the gay sex law, came after last year, at least seems to have come after last year's landmark order of the Supreme Court on the right to privacy, declaring privacy as a fundamental right. The court had said the law cannot trample or curtail the constitutional right to life and liberty. So was there at least a change of stand by the government based on that ruling? We're going to talk more about it. But even though the government clearly refused to take a clear stand, it was welcomed by the gay rights activists who have been fighting the good fight for about 2 decades now. Listen in.
Coming from a place where, just 4 years ago, the court was looking at us as a minuscule minority, to coming this way where the government was actually openly resisting it and was anti-rights for the LGBT community, has now come a full circle where they're saying, okay, fine, we'll leave it to the courts. It's coming home.
Now, even though the government has taken an ambivalent stand, it may be because of whatever divide there is within the government, but right now it looks like they're allowing the courts to do what the courts should be doing. The Supreme Court is listening to it right now. The government hasn't taken a stand which says, which by the way, earlier governments had taken. Let's see what the Supreme Court is saying, what judgment the Supreme Court will come up with.
It's rather interesting because gay rights activists, human rights activists, actually welcoming the no stand the government has taken, because by taking this stand, it's really taken no stand. However, let's just go back. The fact has been that the BJP has upheld the gay sex law in the past, not once, many times over. The party on a number of occasions stood by the archaic Section 377. We're giving you the details right there. However, with its current stand of taking no stand, there seems to be a split within the government, which in any case has been quite evident. You have two very distinct opinions there. One of the finance minister, Mr. Jaitley, who thinks that it's archaic, it's old, it needs to go. While on the other, the home minister, who thinks to have consensual gay sex in the country is a criminal offense.
Even if, by chance, we hold that 377 is struck down as unconstitutional, what should replace it is the duty of Parliament. So Parliament will decide. Just because all over the world homosexuality is decriminalized doesn't mean India also it must be decriminalized. In fact, our tradition is never to regard homosexuality as natural. We regard it as unnatural.
So understand the dichotomy there within the current government. Now the fact is also, perception-wise internationally, India as a country has failed terribly to live up to the modern liberal image it actually wants to acquire. Well, see what happened in UN. India clearly stood on the wrong side of gay rights, where history comes into play when the UN voted on whether it should treat employees with same-sex spouses on par with employees with opposite-sex spouses. What did our country do? India found itself on the same side of the issue, voting alongside Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Iran, Syria, Russia, China. India could have chosen to abstain, but no, it decided to vote against it. Now coming back to the BJP, which has now entered the don't ask, don't tell closet on its stand on Section 377. The problem with the BJP is that Section 377 falls dead bang in the middle of the conflict between the party's aspiration and the party's reality. The Modi-led government aspires to present an image of India as a modern liberal democracy to the rest of the world. However, it's an election year and it needs to cater to its core constituency, which, let's be honest, is homophobic. Which brings us on to the point this evening, the big questions. Did the centre play it safe by leaving the decision to the wisdom of the Supreme Court? The second question we ask, has the government lost possibly a stellar opportunity to project itself as modern, liberal, avant-garde? And lastly, a little hypocritical, the government stand, as it made it stand quite clear on other issues like triple talaq. Those are social cultural issues. Why not something as old, archaic as Section 377? That's what we will be discussing. I want to connect to our panel. We have Sanju Verma. She's from the BJP. She's joining us from Mumbai. Alongside her, joining us from Mumbai, is Sanjay Jha. We have Swami Chakrapani. He's from the Hindu Mahasabha. And in the studio with me is Sharif Ranganekar. He's a gay rights activist. I'd like to connect, before I go across to anyone, to Sanju, you. Where does, everybody wants to know this. Where does the Bharatiya Janata Party stand when it comes down to Section 377? Should it go or should it not go?
Preeti, I have to hand it to you. Your introduction was very lucid, but unfortunately it seems you've made up your mind that the BJP is neither liberal, nor avant-garde, nor modern, nor progressive, and a large part of it is homophobic. I beg to disagree, and let me, for the benefit of your audience, very categorically say that
most
the
of
BJP
India is homophobic. Let's get to grips with the reality.
Homophobic. If you recall
80%, whether it's BJP, whether it's Congress, let me give you the example of Ghulam Nabi Azad.
Complete, Preeti.
Let me give you the example of Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, who comes from the Congress, who said homosexuality is a disease. So 80% of our country is homophobic. It's better to get to grips with the reality. That's what we were stating. Yes, make your point.
Preeti, the reason why I beg to disagree with you is that even if you look at Dr. Subramaniam Swami's statements, he's been on your channel and a couple of others in the last 48 hours. Even Arun Jaitley, for that matter, one of the most respected names within the BJP, a couple of years back, he said what two consenting adults do in their private space is not the business of the government.
Want
or
me
the
to
state.
quote the Home Minister Rajnath Singh, homosexuality is a disease?
This could be a genetic disorder.
Sorry, okay, does the Bharatiya Janata Party think, Sanju, it's a genetic disorder? I'll bring in Sanjay Jha.
Preeti, what I fail to understand is why do you pick out statements which suit your agenda? Why do you pick out statements which suit your narrative?
What is my narrative? Pray tell me.
Your agenda is to paint, your agenda and narrative is to paint BJP as a regressive,
no, it's not,
18th century, think through kind of
Sanju,
a party.
You're saying that I did not. If you had heard, no, Sanju, you're saying that. Okay, Sanju, you're saying that I did not. Okay, even if you think that that is my agenda, make that agenda right clear right now. Is BJP against Section 377? Say yes. Say it.
Preeti, the fact that the government has not taken an adversarial position, is that not a huge progressive step from where we were in 2008 when the Congress categorically said that 377 is very much the need of the hour and that 377 must never go and that 377 is a crime which should be punished with not only life imprisonment but death. This is what many Congress leaders said in 2008.
I agree with you, Sanju. Why do you think I'm not on your side on this? I agree with you.
I think more and more people,
both political outfits, Sanjay Jha, I'll bring you in on this. The BJP doesn't stand painted in a corner. It's your party as well. Let's just go across to what your Home Minister said in the year 2008, where it said that, yes, homosexuality is a disease. You have Ghulam Nabi Azad, who went and said the same thing.
Well, Preeti, let me, as a responsible spokesperson of my party, make the categorical statement on your India Today channel, a very popular, respected channel, and tell you what our official view is. Our view is that Section 377 must be scrapped. It is archaic, it is anachronistic for our modern day times. It is antediluvian. I mean, it has to be scrapped. It basically, I think, looks back at the right to privacy. I mean, I would go back and say that don't forget that the BJP actually contested in the Supreme Court that you and I don't have a right to privacy. We don't have a right to our own bodies. They felt that the right to privacy was not a fundamental right. And I don't think, you know, taking an amorphous or ambivalent position of the BJP to say let the Supreme Court take its own decision and so wisdom answer this question.
I'm coming right back to you.
Preeti, can I answer?
Sanju, you call the BJP antediluvian.
Preeti, can I answer without you interrupting me so rudely?
I'm trying, Sanjay.
Can we have a civilized
Sanju,
discussion?
I promise I will come to you. Sanju.
Let's not
Can we have a civilized discussion?
Or a fast one.
Sanju, I'll come to you. I will come to you, right? Let Sanjay make his point.
Civilized discussion does not give you the liberty to spew lies. Civilized debate does not give you the opportunity to spew
Just 1
lies.
minute.
So correct him when your turn comes. That's what a debate
madam,
is.
if you stop interrupting people, people will
make
hear
your
you.
point. Sanjay, please make your
If
point.
you
I
are
want to
going to
bring
be
in our other
rude
guests.
and impertinent and extremely, shall I say, So, you know, I want to make this point here that we believe that Section 377 must be scrapped. I mean, end of day, even the Supreme Court of India, even the Supreme Court of India, my God, how can you be like this?
I want to bring in,
How can you be like this?
I'll give you, the both of you, I'll give you 10 seconds.
Why are
Please
you doing
understand
this,
what a
Sanju
debate is.
Verma? Let people speak.
Sanju, I'll come to you. You know, it doesn't have to be like this every time, Sanju. Just relax, I'll come to you.
Believe this.
You had the first word in on this debate. I'll bring in Sharif Ranganekar. Sharif, the question I'd like to ask you is, the fact that the government has not taken a stand clearly, does it work in your favor?
I think, see, it's right now in front of the courts, but I think the important thing is that there is a movement forward. We see it as that. By leaving it to the bench, then, you know, at the end of the day, when we look at the whole movement over these years, what we have is not politicians like these on the, you know, who are debating and trying to score brownie points. We are looking towards the courts. We are looking towards the courts, you know, interpreting the Constitution, and we believe and we have faith in them, even though what happened in 2013. So if the government has left it to the courts, left it to the bench, I think we are extremely happy with that. I mean, obviously we'd be more thrilled if the government had made it stand clear and, you know, looked at the aspect of fundamental rights.
But it's better that the government's not opposing it, right?
Yeah, it's much. That's
the fact that they've left it to the judgment. Also,
which is where,
and you know, and possibly because why? You know, and we're just interpreting what happened. The fact, let's just go back to last year. You know, the verdict which came on right to privacy. Now, the Apex Court made that clear. Do you reckon a lot of what's going on today in court would ride on what happened then?
Yeah, I think it's collective things. I think it's the privacy thing is any day the most important aspect. I think there was a lot of movement post that because of the quantum of space and views given on 377 and what its views were at that time. But I think what also happened at that point in time is the way the press has interpreted it,
right,
and the way activists have come forth further. And then you've seen these, you know, the number of petitions. So I think there is that's like a cutoff time and a cutoff date. So there is a lot of optimism. But there was optimism even in 2013. So we do want to be a little cautious, but we are quite happy.
You're quite happy, all right. Swami Chakrapani from the Hindu Mahasabha, he's the president of the Hindu Mahasabha, and he's rather upset with what happened in court today. Swami Chakrapani ji, क्या आपको लगता है जो सरकार ने आज किया कि उन्होंने बोला है कि अब कोर्ट डिसाइड करेगा कि सेक्शन 377 लीगल है कि नहीं, सही किया?
देखिए, बिल्कुल गलत किया और हमें लगता है भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपने विषय और अपने मुद्दों पर पूरी तरह कंफ्यूज पार्टी हो चुकी है। आप ये देखो कि जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने जाकर के किया, अपनी जिम्मेदारी निभाना चाहिए, इसका विरोध करना चाहिए और उस पर और कड़े सजा के प्रावधान की मांग करनी चाहिए और उसको बिल्कुल उसको लागू रखने चाहिए। लेकिन जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने मौन स्वीकृति दी है, ये बहुत ही गलत बात है और हमें लगता है कि भारतीय कल्चर, भारतीय संस्कृति और उसका अपमान किया है, जो बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है। अपने दायित्वों का निर्वहन भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने बिल्कुल नहीं किया है।
आप ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी से या सरकार से क्यों नहीं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे? आपको क्यों लगा उन्होंने गलत किया?
नहीं, इसलिए कर रहे थे क्योंकि वो कल्चर की बात करती हैं, वो हिंदू धर्म की बात करते हैं, और हम आपको बताना चाहते हैं कि ये समलैंगिकता सभी धर्मों में अवैध माना गया है, गलत माना गया है, अनैतिक माना गया है और बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है। हमारी मनुस्मृति भी इसको गलत।
चक्रपाणी जी, जो आर्ग्यूमेंट्स कल कोर्ट में हुए आपने सुना था? क्योंकि जो आप भारतीय संस्कृति की बात कर रहे हैं सर, जो कल कोर्ट में हुआ, जो आप भारतीय संस्कृति की बात कर रहे हैं, उसमें तो साफ लिखा है कि ये बहुत पुराने टाइम से चला आ रहा है। इसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि भारतीय संस्कृति में ना हो या आपके कल्चर में ना हो।
नहीं, देखिए
बहुत पुरानी बात है जो चली आ रही है।
मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ प्रीति जी, मैं आपको उसमें नहीं, उसमें जो शिखंडी और इसकी चर्चा हो रही थी, देखिए नर नारी किन्नर की तो चर्चा है, बिल्कुल किन्नर है, लेकिन वो समलैंगिक नहीं थे। शिखंडी हो या वो किन्नर जो है उस समय समलैंगिक नहीं थे। तो जिस प्रकार से वो जानबूझ के ये किया जाता है कि यहाँ तो कई हमारे ऐतिहासिक प्रमाण है, ये बिल्कुल गलत है और जानबूझ के ये तो एक पागलपन है, इसकी इलाज होनी चाहिए। अगर जो जबरदस्ती करता है इसको तो इसकी सजा होनी चाहिए, कड़ी से कड़ी सजा का प्रावधान होना चाहिए। लेकिन बड़ी दुर्भाग्य की बात है कि विदेशी जो कर्म है उसको जानबूझ के देश में थोपा जा रहा है।
हाँ, ऑलराइट, सो शरीफ, यू वांट टू कम इन ऑन दिस?
Yeah, well, actually, I think I'm not surprised by what he's saying because there are many people who believe.
I'm just coming to the political debate. Let Sharif make a point.
I think firstly, you see, I think religious leaders or leaders of this sort have a tendency to put religion way ahead of human rights and I think humanitarian aspects of life and living. So I'm not surprised that he's saying that he's almost assuming that there wasn't sex, there wasn't so many other things.
Not assuming, he's saying there wasn't sex.
Yeah, but then obviously maybe he's someone who's lived a longer life than all of us and longer than history actually is there, so he needs to learn perhaps.
All right, so let's get back. All right, let's get back to the political debate and let's just hope we can have some order. Sanju and Sanjay Jha. So Sanju, let's come back to it. You had, when I talk about your core constituency being homophobic, you have one right there, Swami Chakrapani, who says very clearly that the centre, the government and the party is going against the grain of what it actually believes in.
Okay, Preeti, let me first make a few points. Swami Chakrapani said that BJP is a very confused party. I beg to disagree there, because even if you look at the track record with respect to the Hadia case or the Shaira Bano case,
I'll play the track record for section 377, that's what we're talking about.
Is what the BJP sought. As far as section 377 goes, let me tell you that time and again, irrespective of what individual leaders may have said, the fact that what two people do, consenting adults in this case, in the privacy of their own bedroom or private space, is not a matter for the state or the government to intervene, has been said no less than the Member of Parliament, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, as recently as 24 hours back. All people are saying within the BJP is that let's deliberate this, because this will tantamount to expanding the scope of section 377 and related acts, as it will have repercussions on civil rights, marriage, adoption, divorce, what have you. And please note, Preeti, one thing which nobody is mentioning is that even in 2009, when the Delhi High Court said that section 377 should go and is not constitutional, and that constitutional values are supreme and over exceed the moral values irrespective of moral indignation of people. One thing even the Delhi High Court said was, what people do in their private space, that is something that I need to underline. So are we now going to have gay pride parades? Are we going to have public display of gay affections?
What's wrong with that?
These are things that need to be thought through.
But
this is
what's
not
wrong?
to say you're homophobic.
Sanju, tell me something.
What's wrong?
There is
Sanju,
a contrast
one
between
second.
traditions
Now,
and the
Sanju,
way
you
some
had your
people
say.
have been brought up.
You've had your say. I want to bring in Sanjay Jha. I want to bring in Sanjay Jha, and Sharif is rather a little affronted.
Rather than
Sanju, now you can't have a monologue. No, allow me time.
Toe the line.
Sanju,
even if I agree
Sanju,
that it's
can you hear me?
line with
Can
the
you
right
hear
to
me, ma'am?
dignity, right to privacy,
Ma'am, can you
right
hear
to
me?
equality.
Ma'am, can you hear me? You talk about, you raise a point on whether we need to deliberate. Ma'am, you know, if
public order,
can we put our fader down?
Health.
Can we put our fader down? All right. Now, ma'am, you talked about the fact very clearly that we need to deliberate as a society whether we are okay to see. And tell me, because I think I heard you wrong and so did Sharif right here in the studio, that affection between a homosexual couple should be allowed publicly or not. Have you, Sanju, ever affectionately held the hand of your beloved in public? Have you ever wondered that might be an offense?
You know, Preeti, I am by nature aggressive, but not somebody who really displays my affections very publicly.
So
To that
public
extent,
affection
I'm
doesn't work for you.
introvert, and
Sanjay
many
Jha,
of
can
my
I get
friends
you
will
in?
tell you that.
All right.
If you ever care to bump into any of
possibly
them.
then it's a personal opinion and we'll take it as that. Sanjay Jha, you wanted to make a point, come in.
Yeah, Preeti, I believe that after the scrapping of Section 377, and I remain very optimistic that the Supreme Court verdict will be in favor of scrapping it, we should be discussing things like gay marriages. Why not? Absolutely. I mean, you know, this is about the right to dignity of an individual. It's your fundamental right to live and love the way you wish to. And I want to make one point here. Don't forget that the Supreme Court itself has now held transgenders as a legal gender. I mean, there has been a very progressive, I would say liberal stance taken by the Supreme Court itself. And I think end of day, the political system has to recognize that the world is appreciative of being liberal, tolerant and progressive. That's the way we got to be as a society. Now homosexuals and the LGBT community may be a minority, but we need to respect that minority. Whether it's 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, it does not matter. I think every individual has a right to dignity to their lives. And I think the Supreme Court verdict that said that the right to privacy is a fundamental right will be the linchpin of the entire, I think, verdict by the Supreme Court. So we remain optimistic. We support the scrapping of 377, and I'm being extremely explicit on your channel. The Congress party would like to see it get abolished.
All right, okay, so, fine. So the BJP hasn't really said anything on that yet. Sharif, I'll give you the last word. 10 seconds, Sharif. Now, what are you expecting?
377, but we continue
okay, 1 second. Sanju, all right. Sharif,
I think very clearly.
What do you think it will happen this time?
I think we're very optimistic of it happening, and we want it to happen because I think there are too many lives out there which have been lost, and I think the lady doesn't understand what Pride is all about and what the Pride March is all about, because it has a lot to do with protest, and there's nothing wrong with protesting and standing up for your rights.
Public display of affection. Public display of affection. All right. Appreciate our panelists for joining us. This is a debate which is bound to continue. The hearing has begun. The verdict still not there. The Supreme Court now will decide. And where, of course, the government stands on what we were discussing today, there are two ways to look at it. One, has the government been extremely brave by saying that, listen, let the Supreme Court decide, we will accept it. On the other, has the government possibly lost a stellar opportunity to come across looking modern, liberal? Two ways to look at it. We let our viewers decide. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.